Hi, everyone. I'm Maggie McGrath, editor of ForbesWomen. Elite women's sports are expected to generate $1.3 billion this year, and a lot of that money comes from commercial deals and sponsorships. Joining us now is someone who knows more than just a thing or two about this. Carli Lloyd is a retired U.S. women's national team player. She's an Olympic gold medalist, and she's also a Fox Sports analyst. Carli, thank you so much for being here.
Sure, good to chat.
So before we were starting this recording, we were talking, you and I, about a lot of your sponsorship deals, and you were talking about the necessity of these deals even after retiring from playing because of the lack of a retirement package. Can you talk to me about how you've approached the business opportunities in your post-playing career?
Well, I think first and foremost, it comes from performance on the field. And obviously, our team was very successful over the years. In 2015, from an individual standpoint, from myself and my performance, as well as the team's performance on winning a World Cup, which was the first World Cup that we had won since the '99 World Cup. So it took 16 years, 16 long years. So, that performance that I had and the team had, and just the coverage that Fox Sports had with the World Cup and where it was located in Canada. So many people tuned in, and it was like everything kind of just aligned for us to have opportunities come our way. And so personally, I had a ton of opportunities, opportunities to go speak, opportunities to, join on with sponsors and different appearances. And I took every ample opportunity I could, on top of still trying to train and perform and be at my best. And so from that point on in my career, those 10 years into my career from 2015 on, I've continued to just be very diligent off the field as well. I approach every one of my partnerships with sponsors, whether it's the speaking engagements, appearances, shoots, just as I do my on the field approach. And that's, working hard, treating everybody with respect, making sure that you're meeting people and asking questions, because you never know where that relationship may lead to. And so I've been very grateful and very blessed, and sort of in that top echelon of players who have come out of retirement and still had opportunities. But I've been prepared. I've worked for those opportunities. But there's a lot of players that retire from the sport and don't have those opportunities. We don't have any type of pension with the amount of years that you play, like some of the other sports, like Major League Baseball and football and all these other sports. We don't have any type of health stipend that you get, where maybe you're going to be needing a knee replacement or a hip replacement down the line. We're having to, basically get our own insurance if your spouse doesn't have something that you can get on. And so there's still a lot of room for growth. I think that, we're not really set up in the soccer world, especially on the women's side, where, some people can retire comfortably. For me, I was very diligent about saving money and making sure I'm putting money away from the moment I started earning a paycheck. So there's still a lot of work to be done in that regards as far as the retirement phase. But I still, I'm very, very grateful for all the opportunities that have continued my way.
To your point about there being no pension, in the 2022 collective bargaining agreement, there was a 401k provision with a 5% match, but that is not the same as some of these commercial deals and sponsorships that you and other elite players have been able to strike. I want to talk to you about one new deal, and one of the reasons we're talking today. You have signed on as a brand ambassador for Betterment, a fintech company. Can you tell us about why it was important for you to take this opportunity and what it means?
Well, I think, their campaign of Pursue Better kind of aligns with, my mantra of just being better every day. And that's in anything and everything that you do, whether that's playing a sport, whether that's speaking, whether that's doing TV work with Fox Sports, whether that's being trying to be a better wife. So I just love the concept of their campaign. And Betterment has one mission. That's to make people's lives better and easier. And I think that this platform is just offering a really simple and easy automated opportunity to be able to save, invest, depending on your goals in the financial world, and what you kind of want to see your future as, and be able to, not have to be super savvy about it, not have to be just around the clock worrying about it. And so that's why I loved it. I thought it was just a really awesome concept because it can be very daunting, the financial world, and just what you're supposed to do and, how you're supposed to invest and all these different things. And so I like it because it's peace of mind to just be able to figure out what you wanted to do, whether you want to opening a checking account, whether you want a retirement fund, and you can invest and then just kind of sit back and worry about the rest of your life.
Personal finance can be extremely intimidating. And I'm wondering, Carli, how has your thinking around personal finance issues evolved from your playing days to your days now, post playing, but as a commentator, as a businesswoman? What have you learned, and what are the most important issues that you're thinking about today?
Well, first and foremost, save, save, save. It's not necessarily what you make, it's how much you save. And I really believe that. And I've been very diligent from an early point in my life to make sure that I am saving my money because there would come a time, and I was fortunate enough to play 17 years on the national team where you do have that security of a paycheck in addition to some of the sponsorships and other things that you have going on outside of that. But, in a blink of an eye, I could have been hit by a car or not able to have returned to playing. And I think that you can't be a professional athlete and be naive. You have to understand that at some point it's going to come to an end. And at some point, you may not be able to kind of choose your path. And so I've always been very diligent about opening up retirement accounts, putting money away. Of course, there's tax benefits to doing that as well. And so surrounding yourself with good people that can offer you that good advice. You don't want people that are just yes people. And so I have done that from an earlier age in the beginning of my career, and always wanted to kind of set myself up, and obviously now family up for the future, because it's really, really important. And I think so many people get caught up in the moment, and of course you want to be living in the moment and you want to enjoy things, and we all can't take our money to our graves, and I get that, but at some point you have to be very smart. And so I've just had really smart people around me. I've had people that want the best for me and offer good advice. And you just can't be greedy in this financial world as well. I just believe in the long game approach. It's the same as my career. Success doesn't happen overnight. And if you just chip away little by little, putting a little in, every single year, eventually you set yourself up for the future. So that's just what I've tried to do. I don't have all the answers, but I've just tried to kind of, set myself up for a good future, because I knew that there wouldn't be anything after soccer. And so it was up to me to be able to continue partnerships. And, thankful I've got Fox Sports. It's a great place to be able to work. And, it's a tough space to be in as a professional athlete when you retire, especially when you retire at the age of 40, like I did. So it's not a 65, 70-year-old, that's retiring and collecting Social Security and all of that.
I'm wondering, does the fact that you retired at the age of 40, did that attract you to this opportunity with Betterment more, or was it just more the right partner at the right time in your life?
Yeah, I think, I go back to talking about relationships. I mean, this whole opportunity came from a speaking engagement that I did at JP Morgan. in at the retreat in Utah, and I was, sitting next to CEO Sarah Levy, and just having a very casual conversation and talking about women's sports and talking about all these different topics, how she joined on as of recently, and then next thing I'm top of mind in choosing to represent this Betterment campaign and partner with them. And so I think when things organically kind of unfold, I think that's always kind of how things have aligned with my brand and myself, and always priding myself in wanting to be better every day and to pursue better, and just everything that they're about, really resonated, I think, on both sides. And so I think that I've been pretty vocal about the opportunities that I've had, and being very grateful for all those opportunities. So I think it was just a win-win on both sides to really to get people, and especially women, right? I think it's a daunting field. It's a lot of men, and I've dealt with men, and you kind of feel a little inferior, and maybe not as confident to ask questions and whatnot. So I think that it was just a great opportunity, and their pursue better is just resonates with me. So it was a great partnership to be part of.
And women also tend to live longer than men. So your point earlier about just doing a little bit consistently, like you would with training, with saving, the analogy is really strong. And I think we see this at ForbesWomen, the sources that we talk to, just the importance of, even if you can save a little, it goes a really long way, because the longevity risk is different for women than it is for men.
Yes, definitely.
Now, I started this conversation citing that $1.3 billion figure that elite women's sports are expected to generate this year. That comes from Deloitte, and that does include sponsorships. But in 2022, the year after you retired, that figure was just $692 million. So that number nearly doubled in just 2 years. And there's been so much talk this year about, this is the moment for women in sports. But you said it yourself, your World Cup victory, your playing career, I felt like so many people were watching, and it was commanding attention then. What do you make of this moment now and how it's different?
Well, I think, it's no longer just the mom and pops getting involved because they really like soccer and want to be supportive. This is a smart business move now. You're seeing it in the WNBA, you're seeing it in women's soccer, tennis, as well, all these different sports where, now is kind of the time to get involved and invest. And it's becoming a really smart business move. And so obviously the product on the field has to be good. People have to want to watch, what they're seeing, and want to see wins and want to see good performances. So that has to continue. But, it's just been great to see kind of the evolution of where women's sports has come. I mean, I look at women's soccer in 2005 when I joined the team. We were barely pushing, 5,000 fans at our game, and really not a lot of games that were televised. We would go and play tournaments in Portugal, and you'd have to find these, wild links to be able to watch anything. And now, you're just seeing the investment, the support, you're seeing the broadcasting coverage, and the more that it's being put out there, the more that it's being shown, the more people are going to get involved and want to be part of it. So it's been great. And I think, the timing of me retiring, I mean, obviously, the equal pay fight that we had was really not for us in that particular moment. It was to push the next generation on and to make it better than when we first came into it. And you're seeing the benefits of that happening in the NWSL for U.S. soccer on the women's side, which is great to see. So, I think for me, it's just continuing to, stay involved and be part of that because it's really an exciting time.
Talking about the next generation, obviously there has been so much investment, and you said broadcasting rights, et cetera, this year in women's sports. What more do you want to see? What more, if you could make a wish list or a prescription for folks with checkbooks, what would you tell them to do at this moment in time?
Just keep getting on board and keep supporting. There's obviously a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of amazing professional women athletes that, are deserving of the spotlight, are deserving of sponsorship deals and all those different things. And I think that, it's if I were a male soccer player after playing 17 years doing all that I did, I would probably be sitting pretty comfortably and pretty and not having to, do much work if I didn't want to. And so there's still that very large gap. And I get that, that obviously comes from, the money that is being made and the ticket sales. But, people have to go and watch women's sports. You've got to pay to have a ticket, to go, to be part of that, because then that drives up everything. It drives up profits, it drives up fan engagement and all of those different things. So I think just kind of continuing what's been happening, TV deals and support and all these different things. It's not necessarily about just writing checks. It's about being invested and excited about the product, about the players, and really wanting to continue to drive it forward.
It's not just about writing checks. You're right. It's a virtuous cycle. You need the interest of the consumer to get the interest of the broadcasters and the advertisers and everyone else. Well, Carli Lloyd, thank you so much for joining us today. We so appreciate your time and your insights on the state of sponsorships for women's sports.
No problem. Thanks so much.